8:22 on a Tuesday morning. I'm walking down here. It looks like we got an SD70 sitting down here. We also got a GE AC unit, and it's tied down, no crew on it. They got the brakes tied down, so this means they took the crew off of it and carried it to Greenwood. They probably were out here too long to be on the law. I'll get some pictures when I get closer, y'all. Alright, that train we got down here has got 3 engines on it. You got that SD70 in the middle there. They got another GE back there. Auto rack train, y'all. Alright, thank you. It's quiet down at the depot. I got 3 diesels down here. All 3 of them shut down. They got enough air. The lead one's the one that's been running. The other 2 are shut down. Alright. Thank you. I'll get some more when action happens. No crews. Train's not running right now. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is a Tuesday morning. Probably about 8:30. And this train's been tied down in Abbeville for a while. Alright, this is an ES44AH. That's your dynamic brakes up there. See if I got my finger in the right place. Over there is car body ventilation. You got a digital bell. Now where is it? It's not a real bell, it's just making the sound of a bell. Handbrakes are tied down. Radio truck for a General Electric locomotive. Alright. And down here we have SD70AC. And it should be a SD70IAC because of the isolated cab. If you notice up here on the front, that little seam that runs down the nose, and you'll see the gasket in there and stuff to make it watertight. Alright, those are radial trucks for General Motors right there. Basically a radial truck, the front and the back axle will turn like that so it'll go around the curve, or it'll go this way and go around the curve that way. That's what both those do. Now the other type of truck is a rigid frame truck, and I don't have an example of that here. Alright, auto rack train down there. These all come out of Cincinnati. New York, the Norfolk Southern Railroad hands them off to all the other railroads. Norfolk Southern picks them up from the factories and stuff and handles the yard work. Alright, what we got up there? That front compartment up there is dynamic brakes. That's where the air sucked in for it, and I guess it's blowed out on the roof. And what dynamic brakes is when you're riding your train down the hill, you got electric motors attached to each axle. Well, if you cut the electricity off from the generator, the wheels rolling will turn that motor, and it will cause it to become a generator. Well, that electricity is taken up through these wires up through here into that compartment, and they run up there to the upper section. See if I got my thing. Up there, where it's a big toaster grill up there, and they have a fan that cools it off. So whenever they're in dynamic brakes, that's what you're hearing is that fan whining. You're not hearing anything else because the engine's not doing anything. It's just sitting there idling. Alright, the engine compartment's back here. Your generator's up on this end. Alright, that duct right back here, and it comes down, you got this blister sticking out on the side, and then it goes down to the deck down there. Well, if you notice the deck on it back here, as a rise up, well, all that's a vent. That carries the air from that duct to the front traction motors and to the back traction motors. And that cools your electric motors down, so you could be using them while you're standing still, not running the engine. You could still use, well, I done lost my train of thought. Hold on, let me think. Alright, usually an electric motor cools itself. It'll have a fan on it, and as it's turning at full speed, it cools itself. But if you're sitting there driving a train, and you put 600 volts on those motors, and it's sitting at idle getting ready, it's taking off, so it's pulling, that engine's starting to start up. I don't know if you heard the bell or not. But anyway, the engine's creating heat the whole time it's working, and if it's not going that fast down the track, it may not have enough speed to cool that motor off, so that's why they blow air on the motors to cool them off. Alright, let's see what else I can find that's interesting. Huntington SD70 CSX overhaul locomotive shop. Alright, she's starting up, y'all. That's pumping up the fuel right now. And you got the alarm going off telling everybody in the cab on the outside of the locomotive that's fixing to start up. Got another pump coming on. I don't know, that might be for your oil. Now your engine's up there. Back here are your air compressor and your fuel pump. Starter's going. They use the alternators on it, but it's a starter. Alright, she's starting up so she can make air for the train. Because you have air leaks on trains, they got to keep the pressure up. Now they can't add any more pressure than what they... If he came in on 80 pounds of pressure, and say he drew off 15 pounds of air to bring it to a stop, you know, he does it in slight reductions to knock off 3 pounds, then it'll go on to 6, 8, you know, 6, 9, until he gets up, gets the train stopped, and then he's got to do another pressure reduction. So he might only have like 65 pounds of air in that line. Well, he can't raise that pressure because if it does, it will release the brake. So it just goes up and gives it enough air to maintain that 65. And it did drop down enough that it started to lock the brakes up even more. In other words, it did about to go down to that amount of reduction. Alright, y'all. So let me explain something. You see the big tank on above the fuel tank, that's the air. Same thing with that locomotive. When that compressor's running, that's pumping 200 pounds of pressure into that tank. Alright. That's what it's doing, is pumping that tank back up. Now coming out of that tank is that pipe that feeds the brake system for the train. Now if he's got his, and that system runs off of 80 pounds of pressure. So that pressure he never lost that pressure. So it's always maintained that 80 pounds of air on the brake line or whatever the brakes were set at. Yeah, if it went down to 65 pounds of pressure, that's what it maintains. Alright. Alright, I'll get more in a little bit. I'm going to hang out down here. Hopefully I'll see a train crew after a while. Alright, thank you. Engineer going in. Alright, so we got the taxi here for this train. Conductor's got to go knock handbrakes off. Engineer's got to get everything started. Alright, fixing to crank up. I figured that's on its own, not really the engineer. Fuel pump, the oil pump. As soon as they cut the electricity off to the oil pump, I believe that's the oil pump, and the engine cranks up. Alright, this is the AC locomotive, and I'm looking at the wires that go down to the traction motors. Up here on the front, I don't know if you can see them. You got 3, and then 3 to go to the next motor, and then you got 4 back here to go to that traction motor. You got 3 smaller ones and 1 big one. I don't know what that is. There's electrician, those 3 wires, there's 3-phase AC. Looks like what you run your mills and stuff with. Alright, thank you. There goes the air compressor. Look. I talked about that blister duct coming down the side of the locomotive. And it's blowing in that duct underneath the floorboard. Well, underneath their floorboard, they don't run the duct. See, on that one down there, that's the other side, just to show you, they're not running duct under their floorboard. They run it straight down the middle, I guess. He done knocked the handbrakes off, and I missed that. There's the engineer going in. He's got to get his locomotive started up. Let him know he is here. Make sure they're all online and all the switches are lined up in the correct place and stuff. But the other thing I found was interesting. See the little small square vent up there? I don't know if my finger's in the right place or not, but the little small one, you got the 3 in the front, that's dynamic brakes. That little small one there, and probably whatever they got on the other side, is all the air it's sucking in to supply air to cool the traction motors with, and to get fresh air in the front. SC7 is just starting up. Alright, SC70 online. Got 3,320 gallons of fuel, look like. Now it's gone flat. Dash. 3,380 gallons. I don't know where the handbrakes on this one are. Alright, the big fin up on top, that's the radiator coil. I think most people know that. But the generator's going to be in that area, and the motor's going to be down in this area. And back there is your water, some water tanks and pumps and stuff for the coolant, and air compressor, and usually the controls to start the engine or whatever. I figure the engineer's going to be coming by in a little bit. He's got to start this one up. And he may not do it. He may figure he doesn't need it. But he says he's got to stop in Greenwood, and he picks up a cut of cars, so this train turns from an auto rack train into a mixed freight. Alright. And then they go down to Casey, and they work Casey, which is where they drop off the auto rack train. They gotta work it in the yard down there. Alright, let me pause it for a little bit. Alright, conductor's coming. Alright, the big DP on the front of this locomotive and the DP on this locomotive. Now what that stands for is distributed power. Now what does that mean? This locomotive is equipped with the equipment to broadcast the signal or to receive the signal from another distributed power locomotive. And they can send in, well, it's one way. This being the lead locomotive will transmit the signal out, and all the locomotives in this train assigned to that signal or that code will obey what this locomotive does. If he puts this in notch 8, all the locomotives will go in notch 8. Now, if you don't have a distributed power locomotive, it can still go in this train. But it has to be the second or further back locomotive in the lead set. And the way they get their messages to control the train. That red cord over there stuck in the red box is the umbilical cord, and that sends electrical messages, what notch the locomotive's in, where the headlights are supposed to be, ditch lights on or whatever like that. That type of information is sent through that cable. Throttle positions and stuff. Now the air brakes, the big hose in the middle tells all locomotives, tells all the railroad cars what to do. But the big hose over here in this group of 3, I think that's the right one, tells these locomotives how to set their brake. Alright. And then one of those hoses is for the sanders, so if you start sanding wheels on this truck, on this locomotive, it'll sand them on all the wheels on all the locomotives, or all sand hose. Not all the wheels get sanded, just the lead and the trailing wheel on the truck. The lead are going forward, trailing wheels, they're pushing backwards. Alright. Let me pause it. I might think of some more. Alright, Engineer going into the cab. You gotta check that locomotive out too. I don't know what he got on the ground, walked back up to the front or something, then he came back out down here. Alright, thank you. Alright, our train is sitting there. It doesn't have its headlights turned on, disc lights. It's got both the crew are in the cab. They knocked off the handbrakes, and the engineer inspected all three of his locomotives. We still got red signal. I don't know if you can see that down there. Let me see. It's on the side, so it'll be the signal on the right. And I'm not getting this to go in anymore. Alright. I'll get more when it gets activated. There might be another train coming at us. I don't know. Alright, thank you. Alright, I'm walking north. I'm going towards the signals to go check the southbound signal and check the track down here. These guys could be sitting here waiting for the tracks to clear up in Greenwood, which makes me wonder why they brought them over here if they weren't ready to launch the train just now. But the other alternative is that we got a southbounder coming in, so I'm going down there to check the signals and the switch to see. The train we got here, the auto rack train, is on the side, so the tracks ought to be lined for the main line. For if there's a train coming out of Greenwood going south, for him to get by, he's got to come down the main line. Alright, thank you. Alright, it's hard to read because the sun's so bright and everything, but it's a green over red, which is a clear signal, which means he could go maximum speed down through here. The switch is lined for the main line, so we're ready for a train out of Greenwood, y'all. Alright, thank you. Alright, y'all, that southbound signal been dropped to red, and they give this man the clear signal to come out with the auto racks. They got the switches lined for the siding, so he's ready to come out. He's going slow because he's still picking up slack on these cars. He don't want to snatch the last car if it's sitting still. Hopefully they're all rolling, so that cuts down on the forces when it takes the slack out. He's waving at y'all. Alright, I don't see any handbrakes on this thing. Yeah, here's a handbrake back at the back. Got the highway department down here watching. I'm going to step back so you can see them better. Get me out of the sun down here. Y'all ready to tag a railroad car? Put your name on there. No, they can't around a can of paint. You got to be carrying around a ladder too to get some of these. See how these are low down? That's that far up as you can reach. There might be a tall man there. Y-E-R-B. Yerb. Well, he's famous now. I can't read that one. Probably if I stood still and the car wasn't moving. That one's hard to read. Walsh, MFK. The rude people know how. R-A-T, rat. Skull up there. I'll tell you what, this is what I call un-American artwork. These aren't the good people, the good God-fearing Christians of America, are they? That's not pretty. Something making a noise there, I don't know what it is. That was a vibrating type sound. I don't know whether the plans are just rubbing on the rail head over there or what. Alright, the guys with the highway department, they'll be on my other channel I got. I'm going to film them. They're going to be bush hogging down here. Got a big bunch of tall grass and stuff they need to mow. Close and lock doors before a moving car. Every door says that. Lower and lock hinge set. Close and lock doors before a moving car. That's what it looks like that way. That's going downhill. This is coming downhill towards me. Looks like the bottom end coming up, y'all. TTGS cars, these are all double deckers. Every one of them. They're going down to Casey, and this crew's going to work it at Casey. Kansas City, southern of Mexico. It ain't of Mexico, it's supposed to be and. Alright, blue EOT on there, not flashing. Alright, thank y'all. I headed on to Greenwood and Casey. He's got work in Greenwood, pick up some railroad cars. I don't know what type it is. He has a coal train on there one day, but they'll put them in the lead and the auto racks will be on the bottom end. So he's gonna pick up cars in Greenwood and put it behind his train and carry it on down to Casey. And he's got work at Casey when he gets there, I guess, with the auto racks. All right, thank y'all. Good morning, y'all. It's 8:30 on Friday morning. I've been down here since 6 o'clock. No trains yet. I'll get one though, I hope. Thank you. Alright. Green light, north end to Abbeville, northbound on the main line. Clear signal. Green over red. That's track speed 45 miles an hour around through here. Alright, thank y'all. Have fun. Looks like we're starting to have some. It's a beautiful day in Abbeville, y'all. I'm hoping you're having fun. I hope you're enjoying this. We have a train coming in, northbound or coming out of the south out of Atlanta. It could be the Abbeville switcher. I don't see his taxi. Usually his taxi shows up before he does. Alright, I'll give you updates when it gets something happening. Alright, I hear a train coming up behind us. I'm looking north, checking the signals out in the tracks out. Kinda hazy up there. I don't hear him right now, so he's been pulling up the mountain. He might be just going around a curve and I don't hear him. I know he'll be quit pulling here in a little bit, be going in dynamic brakes, but I don't know if he's got to that point yet. Might be just idling down the hill, pulling his train over. And as soon as he gets enough weight on this side of the hill, he'll start adding dynamic brakes to it. He won't use his train brakes, the air brakes. He won't be stopping them that way. Alright. Blowing the horn again. By the same time I heard him blowing the horn, he hasn't gone to the defect detector yet. So do the horn bill, you go into a defect detector, then it roll by Prisman, then it roll through the south end switch, and it'll be coming down the main line, y'all. Alright, thank you. Alright, we finally got a train at Red Street. He's making his way down through here. He's still a mile away from the depot, which is a 440, which is straight up over there, the white post. Let me pause it till it gets closer, y'all. Man, I don't hear anything. It's so quiet, but it's just a train rolling down the hill in dynamic brakes. And dynamic brakes, the only thing making the noise pretty much is the fan on top, cooling down the coil where they burn the electricity off. Alright, he's still, only gotta go about half a mile and it'll be in front of me, but it's taking all day to get there. Alright, thank you. He's coming around the corner. He's not going too fast. Like 2 engines, it's a coal train, y'all. I don't know which one. More than likely it's the SCWX coal train. Yep, it's in dynamic brakes. Nice, quiet, heavy coal train. Going downhill. Conductor's waving at us. 817-3392. And I forgot to take a picture of knocking the signal down. Sorry about that. And I just messed y'all car counters up. Now I watched one of these trains come through and they had tubby all over it. I mean, he hit it like crazy, but this one doesn't have tubby on it anywhere. Well, it's got one there, one there, one there, but it's not the big name spelled out and stuff. Just a little I'm messing you car counters up. I'm sorry. All the DPU is coming up. There's a flat playing in or playing out, I don't know which. 7250 CF40 AC. Bottom end coming up, y'all. Blue EOT on the bottom end. I don't see any lights flash or anything. And our signal is red on the main line. That's why I come over here to get a good picture of that, but I didn't even film that. Alright, thank y'all. Well, we'll have to go down the hill. I can hold it still for you. Alright, it's pretty gone. It's like 11 o'clock now. I came back, I've been down there since 6 o'clock this morning until about 9 o'clock. Then I left and got some stuff and did some stuff, and then I came back down here probably about 10:30. That's right at about probably, I haven't looked at my clock, but I assume it's around about 12 now. I said about 11:30 a while ago, but it's probably 12 now. Alright, thank y'all. Alright, good morning, y'all. Saturday morning, August 31st. I'm headed down to the depot, and I got something rolling in out of Atlanta. It might be the Abbeville switcher, I don't know. There's a lot of noise, so I assume it's a big old train. Coming downhill in dynamic brakes. There's a train. I guess it's coming in for a stop. 5446 on the lead. 543 on the middle engine. 763 on the third engine. Manifest freight. I don't know if this was a grainer train or yeah, it looks like it's all grainers, but I don't know, it could be a grainer, it could be the head end of a manifest freight. Pulling up and stopping in Abbeville. It must be gonna have a train meet here, I think. Y'all. I'll catch them on a little bit.